Welcome back to another episode of Recruiting Tip Tuesdays. And today's tip, stop worrying about having multiple offers. Sure, it's a nice luxury to have different programs fighting over you and competing for you to attend their school. But at the end of the day, you can only choose one school and basketball program to compete at. So it's really important that you lock in and focus on getting the right offer. You could have multiple offers and not the right offer. So you want to make sure that you're focusing on earning an offer where somebody believes in you. The coaching staff has a need for you and your skill set fits their offensive and defensive system. There's a lot of things that will help you determine if it's the right fit for you or not, and if that school checks all your boxes. But you don't need dozens of schools in order to do that. Now, some of you may have seen this tweet from Coach William Payne, who is a big-time social media influencer in the basketball and youth sports industry. And he was having a conversation with a Division II coach, and this coach said their AD would not allow them to offer scholarships to any prospects unless they already held an offer. Now, I can tell you, this is a horrible take, and I really hope this isn't true. This may have been daunting to some of you that don't have an offer, but most coaches do not operate this way. Most coaches trust their eyes, they know how to evaluate, and they'll be able to determine if you're a good fit or not for their program, regardless of how many offers you have. And I started thinking about my coaching career and some of the players I've coached. And one of the best players I've ever coached was D'Moi Hodge. And D'Moi's story is an amazing one. So I'm going to tell that story so that you will be hopeful, excited, and optimistic about your recruiting journey and your career as a basketball player. D'Moi Hodge is from the British Virgin Islands. And when he was in high school, he moved to the States to attend a school in Georgia. Now, this specific school he graduated from, and then he moved on to a postgraduate school. And halfway through his postgraduate year, which is the year following high school, the prep school shut down and he was forced to find somewhere else to go. So he ended up at a junior college in the western half of the United States where he redshirted for the rest of that semester. So he didn't play, all he did was practice. And at the end of that year, that coaching staff got let go and they decided not to bring anybody back. Meanwhile, during this same offseason, I was appointed the head coaching position at the State College of Florida. And D'Moi was actually one of my first signees at the State College of Florida. Now, while he was trying to find a school after this specific junior college situation, he was reaching out to all these schools in Florida, trying to get tryouts, to go on campus for visits, and to try to earn a scholarship. And he went to a number of different schools in Florida, and they all passed on him. We brought him into State College of Florida. He had no committable offers. We ended up loving him in the workout, loving who he was as a person, so we decided to offer him a scholarship. I dropped him off at his house. I started to turn around and make that trip from Orlando back to the west coast of Florida, and he called me and he committed. And I was super excited. One of the first players I've ever signed as a head coach. Now, let's fast forward and see how his career went. First, he was the all-time leading scorer in school history at the State College of Florida. Scored over 1,400 points in only 2 years. He was the National Junior College Player of the Week multiple times. He was the State of Florida Player of the Week 5 or 6 times in his career. And ultimately, he had a great junior college career. But it doesn't stop there. He went to Cleveland State. He was all defensive team. He was all Horizon League. He ended up playing in the NCAA tournament when they won the conference championship. And he had 1 year left to play basketball because of his COVID year. And he transferred to the University of Missouri, where he was second on their team in scoring. He played in another NCAA tournament, and they had an unbelievable year and one of the best years in recent history at Mizzou. So what happens next? He ends up signing a 2-way contract with the Lakers, played several games with the Lakers, became the first player ever from the British Virgin Islands to play in an NBA basketball game. Last year, he spent time in Euro Cup and played in the top league in Greece. And right now, he's currently on a G League team, the Texas Legends. So I wanted to tell you this story because D'Moi didn't have any offers when we signed him at the State College of Florida. And if I had that same perspective where I was only going to offer players who currently had an offer, we would have missed the boat on D'Moi. And funny thing is, all those schools that passed on him, they all reached out to me over the years and they say, I can't believe we didn't take D'Moi. So stop worrying about having multiple offers. You only need one right offer for you. Now, if you like this information, head on over to our website, subscribe to our newsletter, and follow us on all of our social media accounts. We will see you next week for another Recruiting Tip Tuesday.